12 years ago, I faced the most traumatic experience of my life. Now, my ex-wife is asking for my forgiveness. My name is Robert, I'm 45, and I want to share this chapter of my life to seek advice. It all started a decade ago when I was married to Amanda, my first wife. We had been together for 5 years and had 2 young children, Jenna and Kevin, who were 5 and 3 at the time. Our life seemed normal until that one fateful morning. As I drove to work, a speeding car collided head-on with mine. The next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed, my body covered in bandages and casts. The nurse informed me that I had been in a coma for 2 days. Grateful for my survival, I had no idea that my life was about to spiral into chaos. A week later, the doctor delivered the crushing news: I was paralyzed from the waist down and might never walk again. Amanda broke down at the news, and I could see how overwhelmed she was, taking care of the children while managing everything else. I sank into a deep depression, unable to accept the reality of being in a wheelchair. My mind was consumed with fear of never playing soccer with my kids again, of never dancing with Amanda, of never being free like I once was. As if that wasn't enough, Amanda's visits to me grew less and less frequent. At first, she brought the kids 3 times a week, which kept me going, but soon, those visits became rare. I begged her to bring them more often, but she told me they didn't want to see me as much. Eventually, she handed me divorce papers, saying she couldn't live with a disabled man. I'm still young, and I deserve a normal life with a normal man, she told me. Looking back, I knew something was wrong when she started distancing herself from me, but I never expected it to happen so quickly. Just a month after my accident, friends informed me that Amanda had been seen out with another man, an older, wealthy man. They were often spotted together, holding hands in cafes and malls, and rumors circulated that she had been seeing him before the accident. I was still in the hospital when I got the divorce papers. At the time, I felt utterly crushed. I was in a wheelchair, freshly divorced, penniless, and reliant on my savings to cover hospital costs and my children's education. Insurance covered part of my medical bills, but I drained everything else I had to make ends meet. I had nothing left, and the weight of it all made me want to scream in frustration. Despite everything, there was a fire within me, a desire for revenge and to rebuild my life. After I was discharged, I moved back in with my elderly mother. I was 35, divorced, dependent on her both financially and physically, and struggling to accept the situation. My mother, who ran a small flower shop, did everything she could to support me, even though her resources were limited. When I went to see my children, I found my house locked, and neighbors told me Amanda had moved in with her new boyfriend, taking the kids with her. His name was Tom, an older, wealthy man who had been divorced multiple times and had no children of his own. I managed to track down his address and went to confront Amanda. When I asked to see my children, she refused, saying they had already become attached to Tom and were calling him daddy. She threatened to get a restraining order if I didn't leave. I didn't have the means to fight back. I was barely scraping by on my mother's meager income, so I had no choice but to walk away. It was less than 6 months after my accident, and Amanda had already moved on. I couldn't understand how she could replace me so quickly. I begged her for just one more chance, but she dismissed me, calling me a burden. When I asked if she had been seeing Tom before our divorce, she shrugged it off, telling me it was none of my business. I walked away from that confrontation feeling like my world had crumbled. I went back to my mother's house, defeated, humiliated, and crying like a child. She comforted me, urging me to take control of my life again. Slowly, I began helping her in the flower shop. I took on the tasks of arranging bouquets, serving customers, and maintaining the shop. Over time, I saw its potential and realized that, with my help, the business could thrive, even though my mother was too fragile to handle it alone. Determined to turn my life around, I reconnected with old contacts and secured contracts to supply flowers for events. Slowly, I began partnering with event management companies and built a team to handle venue decorations. Over time, I expanded my business and eventually launched my own event management company. It took a decade of hard work, but I managed to rebuild my life. Through every struggle, my mother stood by me, offering unwavering support and encouragement. A year after the accident, I received the devastating news that Amanda was leaving the city with our children and her new partner. I raced to their house in a desperate attempt to see my kids, but by the time I arrived, they were already gone. In the months leading up to that moment, I had tried repeatedly to reconnect with my children, but Amanda always turned me away with harsh words and threats. She had full custody and, given my financial and physical limitations. I couldn't challenge her decisions or her restraining order. Amanda's wealthy boyfriend, Evan, had the resources and connections to keep me at bay, whether he had been in her life before or after my accident. I never knew for sure, but his influence was undeniable. Over the past decade, I hope they won't feel too resentful or angry. Honestly, I have no idea what Amanda has been telling them for the past decade. Should I tell them the truth about their mother? I'm torn on how to approach this, and I'm feeling incredibly nervous yet excited. If any of you have suggestions, I'd really appreciate them. There are two important pieces of background information I need to share. First, about my wife, Ashley. Yes, we've been married for 5 years. Ashley is an incredible woman and an interior designer. We met at an event she was designing, where I was handling the flowers. At that time, I hadn't yet started my own company. It wasn't love at first sight, but we clicked and kept meeting at other events over the next few months. We developed a friendship, and as a single mother of a 3-year-old daughter, she brought a unique perspective. Starting an event management company was actually her idea, given her years of experience and industry connections. I partnered with her, and after a year of dating, we got married. Now, we are a happy family of 4, Ashley, her daughter Anna, my mother, and me. Anna was thrilled to have a grandmother, and my mom was equally delighted. The second piece of information is about my accident compensation. I was hit by a speeding truck years ago. The trucking company managed to avoid paying me any compensation by twisting the facts of the case and shifting the blame onto me. Without the funds for a good lawyer, I couldn't fight back then. But after marrying Ashley, she encouraged me to refile the case since we could now afford proper legal representation. The case is ongoing, but our lawyer is optimistic about a favorable outcome. Back to the main story. As I mentioned in my original post 3 months ago, my children were finally coming to visit after 10 long years since my divorce. While I was both excited and nervous, Ashley was my rock, calming and supporting me. I went to the airport to pick them up. Jenna, now 15, and Kevin, 13, have grown into beautiful, poised teenagers. Our initial meeting was awkward, filled with hesitant greetings and long silences. During the drive home, I tried to break the ice by asking about school and their city life, carefully avoiding any mention of their mother. They didn't mention her either. Their silence was typical of teenagers, maybe just waiting for a moment to plug in their earphones. When we arrived home, Ashley greeted them warmly. The kids seemed shocked, almost as if they hadn't expected to meet her. I couldn't understand why Ashley's presence caught them off guard. When their mother had moved on with another man so soon after our divorce, why couldn't I also rebuild my life? Ashley had prepared the guest room for them and organized a lunch where we shared the vacation itinerary we planned. Their reactions were neutral, neither enthusiastic nor dismissive. Ashley and I were perplexed by their response. After lunch, they retreated to their room and locked the door. Not long after, Amanda called, furious. She accused me of manipulating our children by bringing them here to be influenced by Ashley and me. Her claims left me stunned. She said I had deceived the kids by not telling them about my remarriage. I hung up on her, but she kept calling back, insisting on her accusations. Feeling overwhelmed, I realized it was time to address the tension head-on. I gathered Jenna and Kevin and asked them what was going on. They hesitated at first but eventually opened up. They were angry and hurt because Amanda had convinced them I had abandoned them. She had painted me as the villain, filling their minds with lies. With a heavy heart, I told them the truth. I explained that it wasn't me who left them but their mother who had chosen to move on quickly with someone else. They were young back then, but they still remembered certain events. I shared how Amanda had taken them away to her new partner's home and how she had threatened me and cut off contact every time I tried to see them. I showed them the restraining letter and the numerous rejected pleas I had filed to be a part of their lives. Tears welled up in their eyes as the reality of the past hit them. They realized how deeply they had been misled and regretted believing the lies for so many years. Kevin revealed that he once tried to contact me through social media, but Amanda discovered his attempt. She emotionally blackmailed him, making him promise never to reach out again. Both Jenna and Kevin shared how Amanda's husband often rebuked them, even though he paid for their education. He was never a father figure and treated them poorly. Amanda and the children also endured mistreatment at family gatherings because of her unmarried status. My heart ached as I listened to the hardships my children had faced. We embraced and cried together, releasing years of pain and longing. After the truths came to light, we decided to spend a week in Florida. The vacation was incredible, filled with joy and laughter. Jenna and Kevin bonded with Ashley and Anna, who was turning 8. Seeing our family finally united brought me immense happiness. The kids even uploaded our group photos on social media, proudly captioning them "Happy Family." But the moment Amanda saw those pictures, she called Jenna and Kevin, berating them for their behavior and accusing them of betraying her. She also texted me, threatening to keep the kids away if I tried to turn them against her. I brushed off her empty threats and focused on enjoying our vacation. When we returned, Jenna and Kevin reconnected with my relatives, who welcomed them with open arms. It was heartwarming to see those old bonds rekindled. Before they left, Jenna and Kevin promised to stay in touch, sharing their desire to move in with me once they finished high school. We hugged goodbye, and I felt hopeful for our future. Back home, the kids confronted Amanda about her lies. True to form, she tried to twist the narrative, accusing me of manipulating them. Despite her antics, Jenna and Kevin have stayed in regular contact. It's been a few months since they went back, but we speak often, and I hold on to the hope that they will come back to me soon. A lot has happened since my initial post, and the last 6 months have been filled with drama. Around the same time I reunited with my kids, my court case against the logistics company finally settled. I received a substantial compensation, not just for the accident but also for the injustices. I asked Amanda why she hadn't tried getting a job. She admitted she'd never worked before and doubted she could earn enough to match the comfortable lifestyle her lover had provided for free. She kept defending herself, insisting she had done everything to secure a better future for our children, claiming they would have grown up in poverty if she hadn't made the choices she did. Her relentless justification wore on my patience, and I couldn't hold back any longer. I raised my voice, telling her that if she had truly cared about our children's future, she should have given me a chance to recover instead of abandoning me without warning. I made it clear that I had moved on and that her apologies didn't mean anything to me. She tried to bring up our past, reminiscing about our wedding day and the births of our children, as if those memories could change anything. I remained unmoved, telling her those moments were just distant memories that no longer mattered. I had built a new life, and I wasn't looking back. Amanda crossed the line when she declared that she and our children were my real family, dismissing Ashley and Anna. She even had the audacity to claim that because Anna wasn't my biological daughter, I could never have a true family with them. Her cruel words disgusted me. I firmly told her that Ashley and Anna were my family now, and nothing would change that. When she refused to leave my office, causing a scene, I had to threaten to call the police before she finally stormed out. That evening, I told my mother and Ashley about what had happened. Naturally, Ashley was distressed, but she handled it gracefully, staying calm and composed. My mother, on the other hand, expressed her long-standing dislike for Amanda, calling her selfish and even suggesting she only returned because of the money from the court settlement. It was clear to us all, Amanda was indeed a gold digger. When my children learned about their mother's behavior, they were furious. They confronted Amanda, telling her to respect boundaries and stop meddling in my life. Somehow, word of the incident reached her lover, who then threatened to throw her out if she ever contacted me again. I couldn't be more grateful for that turn of events. The most exciting update is that my children are moving in with me this month. They'll stay with us for a while before starting college nearby. They'd expressed a desire to live in the campus hostel to enjoy their college life, and I fully support giving each other the space to grow while staying connected. Amanda is now left with nothing but the support of her sugar daddy. As for us, our family is stronger than ever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more updates.